Is nothing something? Can it be that there is something that is nothing? And this all-nothingness is the name Simcha invented for this unnameable thing, which is the combination of the illusion of what is apparent reality that is, and the nothingness, which is the nature of what we are, and the thing itself, which is not a thing. So it's very hard to try to describe something in physical, like the laws of physics, because this description doesn't follow the laws of physics as we know them, as are reflected in our reality. Everyone knows, just by looking at the world, that there is a concept of space and time, movement, matter. All these things are trivial. This is how the world is built. The human mind cannot perceive something that is beyond its limits, what it knows. So when trying to explain if this nothingness is something, it is very hard, because using every term Simcha will use will be interpreted in the normal way as you perceive reality, and will not penetrate the real meaning of what she says. And yet she'll try to explain and demonstrate why this nothingness isn't something, why this nothingness itself doesn't exist. The terms awareness is being used, so there is nothing, there is nothingness but awareness. And it's very hard to explain why this awareness is a word that is very, very misleading. Awareness itself does not exist. Awareness itself is the problem in this concept, because when you hear the word awareness, you will think about something or someone who is aware of something. And voila, there's the split. There's two things. And their absolute reality, absolute truth, the natural state is oneness. And in oneness, there can be no awareness which is aware of something. None whatsoever. Not even this mystical kind of nothingness expression, which is like a universal awareness. You say, okay, it's not my awareness, it's a general awareness. I am this general awareness. This is why I am God. But even this awareness, the word is wrong, because it is not aware of anything. It is not something that is aware of anything. So it brings us back to the point of nothingness. And what does it mean when I say this nothingness, this emptiness? The illusion of allness is all around us. It's very hard to ignore it or to say it's not real, because it looks so real and it's so diverse and it's so interesting, and you look around you and you say, this is all. The emptiness or this nothingness is very hard to imagine, because you will always imagine it compared to the all. There is like a vase on the table, and the nothingness is the air around it. So the air itself is something. It is air that is around the vase, and it allows the vase to be a vase, and this is the nothingness you think I speak about. And when you think about the word nothingness, this is what you perceive, the thing that allows everything to show and appear inside it. And this is a division. There is something that allows things to express themselves because it's empty, and there are the things that are expressing in this emptiness. Okay, two things, emptiness and isness. And again, there can be no two things. There is always just one thing, what we are, this emptiness. And so the emptiness and nothingness that this thing is not what you know and perceive as emptiness and nothingness in this world, how this physical world is built. If we know this reality and it is built out of time, space, and matter, we should try to imagine and try to think about a place which is not a place. What does it look like where a place is nowhere? Where is this place? It is not connected to anything. You cannot compare its location to anywhere. So it is nowhere, literally nowhere. And it's impossible for a human mind to perceive nowhere because it lives somewhere, and nowhere will be always compared to the point of reference, and nowhere as a concept is not known. Same thing about no time continuum, nothing. You can think about this just by setting the ground on why I'm claiming that this nothingness isn't something. It is nowhere, and it doesn't happen because there is no concept of time to be found. Like, to try to imagine this thing inside the illusion of the realities, I know it's literally impossible, and just like a childlike mind game, you can try to play with the thought of a nowhere and a place that is out of time. And this is like a total elimination of everything that you can possibly imagine that is a fact, a rule, a physics rule that you obey. Hard to imagine how you cannot obey the physics rule, because you see me, I look like I'm made of matter, and I'm sitting here, and it looks like time has passed since I've said the last word, and now time is passing. And it's very hard for this thing to try to explain that you see nothing, nowhere, doing absolutely, it does nothing. Also, nothing happens here. There is no one here. No, it's not hard to say these things. It's very easy because I'm not saying them. I think the hard part is to try to understand what does it mean that the thing itself is beyond comparison of anything. And this is the root and the point of non-dualism, if you can call this is a name for this thing, because non-dualism is not two things, one thing. There cannot be something that is in some kind of comparison to another thing, not nothingness and isness. These are two things. There is only one thing, and this thing is nothingness. And And this nothingness may appear in the illusion, the apparent illusion of the world as something, and then you can think, okay, but the apparent thing, what I am, what everything is different. It is reflected on this nothingness. It is on top of this nothingness. This nothingness contains it. And this is not the case because it cannot contain it, the nothingness. If it would contain it, or just, it would relate to it. And it cannot relate to anything because it is nothingness. Because it is nothing. So it has to be pure metaphor or idea. The closest thing you can think of is an idea in your mind. How abstract is an idea in your mind? It is very abstract. And this thing is very abstract. It is not a thing. It is the concept of nothingness, of nothing. It's so vague, it's so elusive. And inside this nothingness, there cannot be an expression of something. So this illusion of expression, we are an illusion of it, and the world is an expression. It is the nature of illusion, or the nature of what is not real. It is not real. It has no real substance in it anywhere. It's nothing. It is itself us. The expression of nothingness is nothing. This is why I say, I am not here. And if I'll say that there is an illusion of a character which is expressing itself right now, the illusion also is not here. The illusion has nothing in it. It's not projected from somewhere to somewhere. It's simply empty. It's simply not there. If it were somewhere, this whole concept would not be true, would not be truth. The absolute truth is this freedom from everything, from the illusion, the moment of the shift, what has happened to the character that was driving the car, like Simcha was driving the car, she was identifying herself as a character, and in the moment of the shift, nothing remained. She became this nothingness. She was erased into this nothingness. She stopped. Everything stopped. That 5 years ago or 6 years ago, it just vanished into where it was always. It became what it was always. So it may sound very unpleasant to be nothing. Have nothing, be emptiness. What is there if I'm emptiness? It's so, oh, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be emptiness. I don't want to be nothingness. I'd rather be in the illusion. And the illusion is very nice. But the natural state, what we are, this emptiness, imagine the illusion that you express combined with every single expression you can imagine, the countless expression of this thing, illusory expressions, and the richness and the fullness of the expression, because you only see a very, very narrow possibility of an expression, an illusion of an expression in a very narrow point of view. But imagine when the veil is lifted, when you see directly yourself, this emptiness sees itself. And again, when I say this emptiness, you will immediately think, this emptiness, she's speaking about something. Oh, I can cling onto it. This emptiness, this thing, this emptiness, it is a thing. No, it's not a thing. This is why it doesn't think. This is why it doesn't judge. It has no characters of humans. It is not aware of anything, and it's not loving, and it's nothing. Because it's nothing. So when I say this expression, this vast expression, don't hang to the word this. Say, okay, this is something. So this, again, the emptiness itself is very, very blessed and ecstatic, because it is not, again, you cannot compare it to a person or to a state or to anything, because it is everything you can possibly imagine as an expression, as an illusion of an expression, combined together and in a synchronized kind of way, which is like one thing. And so it is an extremely radical state of, I don't know how to say something that will try to explain the nature is a word, of this non-existent something which is not a thing. Like trying to explain the gap between a word to the next word, like this breath. It is the gap, and it is something. Like in meditation, you can try to see the gap and to connect to this quietness, but this is beyond the quietness, beyond the thoughts. It is beyond the description of is and isn't. Just letting go of all concepts, this liberation, the moment of shift is the moment of liberation from all the laws of physics, though the body may still appear to be obeying them, because this is how the illusion is built. It's okay, I don't care how it's built, and I don't care the thing itself or the non-thing itself. Doesn't care what happens in the illusion. It is an illusion. This all-nothingness is not something. It's not a thing. It's not a space in which the is happening. Again, because if it was the state, there were two things, and there is only one thing. Try to imagine only one thing, not comparing itself to any point of reference. And this is the point where this world is built so differently from what it really is. This is why it's a wonderful illusion. But laws of physics cannot demonstrate this theory. There is no possible way Simcha can explain it and demonstrate it in this illusion. Simply because the illusion is built in a way that we will believe it. The expression, the illusions of expression will believe it and express themselves. It has to be flawless. I cannot, and no one can, prove this claim that I'm making right now, because it's simply impossible to go beyond what is known inside this illusion. If you'll take the entire world, all the people in it, all the animals in it, all the mountains and seas and the fish, and you'll take every star in the sky, everywhere in space, and put them all together, just like in a small room, and you'll hear the noise of everything running together, just screaming, everything together. Try to imagine this noise. This is the illusion of the reality. And this non-existence is the quietness that is the exact opposite of this mayhem. The exact opposite. And this apparent isness. So try to imagine how pure it is, how quiet it is. It's beyond quietness, because quietness also, silence also refers to something. There is something loud, and you can be silent. But it is always, this silence is beyond what you think is silence. This is why I say the silence is everywhere. Even if I'll shout right now, or in the birds that are just chirping, like silence is everything. This is silence. Movement is silence. This is nothing like you can't imagine. But it is. When I say this non-existence, you must not think of yourself as a character that is not existing, and the sorrow that comes with the loss of the character. You can think about the most quiet and beautiful isness, that this expression, your expression, is also part of it, part of this mayhem. And this is all an illusion, a beautiful illusion, and the only thing that is this non-existent thing. And this non-existence, nothingness, all nothingness, so blessed, ecstatic, compassionate, and loving. This is the place you are right now. This is what you are, beyond the illusion. Connected to it, connecting to it as a character is the highest blessing. I can bless anyone. I hope the world will wake up to this reality, to itself. And this is why you can only play with the thought about it gently, don't force it. And while playing with the thought of is and isn't, there is, try to think about like a metaphor for dream. Usually we say that awakening is like waking up from a dream. But waking up from a dream, someone is waking up. There is a person, he dreamt this reality is real, and then he woke up and realized it isn't. But the absolute reality is when you wake up, when we wake up, everything vanishes. The dream and the dreamer. And the whole thing is just free.